Hi, I'm Joe, and in this video I'm going to be sharing my experience with the low Fodmap diet and the carnivore diet. So brief introduction, I made a self-diagnosis that I had SIBO almost 2 years ago, probably longer than 2 years ago actually, and since then I've been trying to treat it, kind of doing a lot of trial and error, my own research, and trying to follow testimonials and find people that have, kind of made it out and tried their protocols. So I've learned a lot in the last couple of years, and recently I've found a diet and a protocol that seems to be working really well for me, and I've been able to measure it with the device that I have. It's a breath testing device that I use at home to measure the hydrogen and methane gas levels in my stomach, which are apparently produced by the bacteria and archaea, which is a type of microorganism, not quite a bacteria, but that's the methane producing one, the archaea. And when they produce these gases, that's an indication that you've got an imbalance in good bacteria, an overgrowth in the bad bacteria, which can come from lifestyle, diet, antibiotics, an invasion, parasites, mold. The list is long what the root cause is anyway, but trying to figure it out is complex because everybody's individual and unique with all our own microbiomes, and it's taken a long time to figure this out. There's no one strategy for all people that I'm aware of. Everybody's built differently, has different beliefs and approaches to diet. I just want to state clearly that I have no moral attachment to diet. I just want to eat the food that's best for my body. I try and source everything ethically. I try and eat as less toxic food as I can, meaning I'll try and buy organic if I am buying vegetables. I don't want to be adding chemicals and things that are going to mess up my microbiome even more, like pesticides and herbicides, which are sprayed on all vegetables and root vegetables and fruits, and all this stuff is just like killing off our army, our defense system, our immune system. And I think that combined with diet, lack of knowledge, ignorance, whatever, we can't point the finger and blame. All we can do is take responsibility. So it's a massive mindset change in actually eating to live rather than living to eat. And believe me, I've lived in that lane before, just living to eat, being a complete glutton, shoving my face with sugar and refined carbs and ice cream and all that stuff, all the good stuff, which has definitely contributed to my poor state of gut health. But I think I've had antibiotics and also just struggled with digestion throughout my life, really. And it's only been in recent years that I've started to really notice the difference it makes when I eat certain foods in comparison with eating foods that'll trigger symptoms. And the list of symptoms what I can experience from day to day is long and depressing, and that's what comes with gut issues, SIBO. Your chemicals aren't working right, your defense is down, you've got your own defense attacking your own body because it's all confused and fucked up, and your thyroid's going everywhere, you've got fatigue and brain fog, so you're like a zombie. And this stuff is real, and I think more people are suffering now with gut issues because of the diet and the lifestyle, and convenience is the biggest problem. Everybody's so familiar with convenience now that nobody wants to cook their own food and labour in the kitchen hour after hour, cooking all your own meals, washing all the bloody dishes, and it's depressing, and it's difficult when you have to go to that from eating in convenience and just out of packets and Mars bars and Snickers and Twixes and Crisp and all the shite that you buy in the supermarket, cereals and packaged food, all that stuff is just contributing to the downfall of man, I believe. You know, people aren't even real human beings anymore. What does it even mean to be a real human being? Well, at least you're eating the food that you was designed to eat. All this stuff in packets and synthetic, man-made processed food with these additives and preservatives, and you know, you're eating this food, you're filling yourself up with the junk, and it doesn't have anything essential in there. And if it is, it's added, it's fortified with synthetic vitamins or whatever bullshit they put in there. So you got people walking around operating on a level where they're not even really human. What, you know, and what does it feel like to be human? I mean, I've been at both ends of the spectrum where I've ate shit and I've ate good, and I've done fasts and juice fasts and I've cleansed my body, I've detoxed, and I eat high quality food now. And the differences between day and night, you know, between feeling like you're just a fucking empty bag blowing in the wind without an anchor, and feeling grounded to actually achieve your goals and work towards things because you have the energy and capacity to do so. You know, and that is the reality of it. When you load your body with minerals and vitamins and electrolytes and fats and proteins, and you just feel like a different animal. And I swear it is real. And the only way to figure it out is to try and experiment. So it means letting go of some of the old habits that are keeping you vibrating on this low level, and stepping into a new way of life, a new way of living. It's eating food differently, changing your perspective on food. You know, think what's recommended, like the recommended daily amounts of vitamins and nutrients and minerals that are advertised by, you know, these so-called experts and people who have built the food pyramid, which is bullshit. You know, if you follow the food pyramid, you're fucked. You're going to be contributing to lining the pockets of the big pharmaceutical industries. And, you know, it's just, I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole, but, you know, wake up, everybody, seriously. It is what it is. You know, it's kind of level of brainwashing that happened when Hitler convinced the Germans that it was a good idea to kill the Jewish people. The same thing has happened with the healthcare industry, is that they've used propaganda, they've brainwashed a lot of the people, used the media to do it, fake science, all this bullshit is out and about, and you know, it's at the expense of our health, our happiness, you know. And I can say from like a deep place that when you start eating real food and drinking clean, filtered, healthy water, you start to function differently. Your body functions differently, and I know because I've been through it. I've done both, and yeah, it takes a bit of sacrifice, and it's hard to give up the things that you don't want to let go of. Your chocolate, your honey in your tea, your raw honey on your Greek yogurt, fruits, blueberries. You know, some of it might only be temporary, but even if it was for a lifetime, and you had to eat this way for a lifetime, you know, the alternative is you walk around like a zombie, depressed, no motivation, no inspiration, no creativity, just a fucking cog in the wheel, you know, feeding this toxic system that, you know, it's hard enough anyway trying to figure out life without all complications. You know, I think no life is without suffering, and, you know, suffering gives us depth, and there's been a fair share of suffering in, you know, at least the last 5 years in my life, you know, just operating on a low vibrational state with, you know, symptoms of like brain fog and fatigue and depression and low mood and low libido, no appetite, can't even digest foods, no happy chemicals being produced in the gut, and just feeling like depressed. And that's coming from a place of, I grew up very fortunate, you know. Even though I ate shite, I was encouraged to do sports and hobbies, and was quite, you know, competitive, strong, fit, healthy in that way until my body broke down. So I've been able to experience life at a pretty high vibrational state with, you know, good positive emotions. So I've had the contrast really, and trying to get back to that place of vibrating on a high level is so important, because when you're not there and you're on these lower rungs of vibration with depression, and you're not digesting your food, and you haven't got the right electrolytes or minerals or vitamins in your body, you're just like walking around like good for nothing. And who wants to be that person? You know, nobody. We've all got goals, we've all got aspirations. You know, maybe you don't know what your goals are yet, but if you make it your goal to have a goal, so you've got a passion and something to work towards, it's so important, I think. And you know, by staying in this state, you haven't got the means to achieve your goals or work towards them, so it's just pure depression. You're just existing. And I figured out something that works for me, and I just want to share it. So if anybody else is kind of going through the same thing with gut issues or depression, you know, what I'm sharing is, there's no bias back behind it. I'm just doing what I have figured works and has turned the light back on and got rid of this whole long list of symptoms. And it's going from low Fodmap to strict carnivore with the addition of oils and kefir, as well as my antimicrobials. So yeah, in the past I've eaten low Fodmap for quite a long time now, and try and reintroducing foods every now and again. You know, like healthy food, sweet potato, white potato, which is considered low Fodmap anyway, but you know, it still causes symptoms within me. Fruits, you know, other vegetables that you just, you know, I try and eat a broad range of vegetables anyway, and feed my microbiome while eating SIBO yogurt, you know, drinking good, clean, filtered water, taking supplements, taking antimicrobials. And I've just been not making any progress with, you know, feeling good about myself and feeling like my energy's changing, trying to treat SIBO. Then recently I got this device which, you know, measures the gas in the stomach, and since I've had that, I've been able to identify foods which I've been eating that are considered low Fodmap and safe to eat if you have SIBO, and they've actually been triggering really high levels of gas in my system, and that correlates with all this depression and low mood, low energy, fatigue, anxiety. And so I've recently taken it out, gone strict carnivore, and the symptoms have gone. I feel like myself again. I've got access to happiness, joy, just motivation, inspiration, feeling good, feeling like I've got something back again. I've got energy to do what I want to do with my life. And so I'm just feeling quite grateful at the minute, and passionate about wanting to get this message out, because, you know, there might be people chasing the tails and going round in circles like I have been for so long, you know, circles but with small gains, because there's always lessons to be learned, you know, and when you can measure it, it's such a game changer. So yeah, but let's just compare. I wrote down a little list to keep me on point with it. You know, when you compare low Fodmap to carnivore, what's the difference and what are the arguments? Well, you know, low Fodmap, you could argue that it helps to increase your biodiversity, feed the good gut bacteria, which also contribute to repair and, you know, happy chemical production, bodily function, immune system. You've got more variety in there, so it seems less extreme. But outside of that, when you're on a low Fodmap diet anyway, there's not many exciting foods. I mean, I got a list from the health path. Let me just grab that actually. So this list from the health path I got after I paid privately for like almost a £500 gut analysis test to check the bacteria, parasites, yeast, fungi, whatever might have been in my gut. I paid for it, and I think it was a waste of money. So don't waste your money on one of them just yet. You know, I think there's other tests that you can do that might be more relevant. Don't just dive into that like I did. So on here you've got the list of low Fodmaps, medium Fodmaps, high Fodmaps, and so I've been trying to stay in this blue range as much as possible, and then we'll try something every now and again from the medium or high Fodmap. But you know, some of these foods and fruits that I've been eating on the low side have been like highly triggering for me. So even like a established company like the Health Path, who must have thousands and thousands of private patients, they're recommending these things that, have been keeping my symptoms very much present, preventing me, in my opinion, from making any progress. And so as soon as I've started to cut these foods out and I've gone strict carnivore, so my diet consists of beef chuck, small amounts of liver and hearts, I'll explain why in a bit, free range eggs, kefir from unhomogenized organic milk, and wild caught salmon, and that's the majority of my diet. And I'll eat the same thing every day. Oh, and bacon as like a treat. And I'll add extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, and electrolytes, which are really important: potassium, magnesium, sodium, and calcium from the kefir. And since I've been doing this, the gases have gone right down on my tests that I've been doing, and my well-being has gone right back up, and my energy levels, my digestion's good. I still have a little bit of bloating, I'm not going to lie. That seems to be getting like marginally better each day, marginally better. It's like the gas is working its way down slowly. And in the past, when I've tried carnivore, I've noticed a similar effect where it's like slowly the gas gets eliminated, and all this gas that's trapped in the small intestine and large intestine, it's just, imagine what it's doing in there. It's preventing food from moving along. It's just, there shouldn't be air in there. Like pockets of air might be killing beneficial microbes, bacteria. You're also not digesting your food. You're not absorbing all your nutrients, and so there's a lot going on. There's a lot happening, and you might think that if you go carnivore, you're going to be losing out on a lot. But if you go in low FODMAP anyway, there's not much exciting foods in low FODMAP. And going carnivore, I think you can still get a really broad range of nutrients. Let's face it, you've got all your essential fats, you've got all your essential amino acids, which are all highly bioavailable. So there's like two of the essential macros. There's not an essential carbohydrate, and you can convert carbs from protein, but your liver can if you eat excess protein anyway. I'm not recommending to do that, but I'm just saying the body can produce carbohydrates on its own from excessive proteins, but it can't produce these essential fats and essential proteins, which we should be having every day anyway, in my opinion. Always try and source, ethically high welfare, because it's just way better quality anyway, aside from the ethics. And when you're eating liver and heart, and they've got all these micronutrients, that's your multivitamin right there. The list of nutrients in heart and liver is long and strong, and I guarantee that the majority of the people in England and around the world aren't even getting close to those levels, unless they're really focusing, on trying to be healthy and eating like a big salad every day, and changing up the meats and having high quality eggs and all these things. Unless you're like obsessed and ultra healthy for whatever reason, most people are eating the standard Western diet, which is just chocolate every day. It's like a treat, some cereal, some white bread, some slices of ham, maybe meat and 2 veg in the evening, but takeaways, packaged meals, crisp, I know because I've been in the thick of it, and I still see it in people's shopping trolleys when I go to the supermarkets, and I think, fucking hell, what's going on? These people are just, I know how they're operating, because that's how I operated for years, with the benefits of youth on my side, until the wheels fell off, like early 20s. So most people are going to be deficient anyway in all these essential nutrients and vitamins and minerals. So everybody's you know, those people are operating on a low level anyway. So I don't think you've got anything to be concerned about with, you know, will you get enough nutrients on a carnivore diet? Yes, you will. And if you follow the protocol I did, and you maximize your electrolytes, and you're eating a bit of offal, and you're having good healthy fats, you know, I feel so different. Like my brain's working differently. It's like my bandwidth has increased. I can hold more thoughts in my head. I can string a sentence together, which I haven't been able to do, strangely enough, this last year. Just feeling a bit slow and dull, and it's like I've come back online, and it's since going strict carnivore. So yeah, maybe there's something in it. I'm still gonna roll with it. And right now, I think the hardest thing was just giving up the last little bit of treats that I was getting from coconut and blueberries, which is little anyway, you know, so it's not even hard to give up. And when you weigh that up with feeling happy, energized, hormonally balanced, sharp, switched on, and just feel like I can actually get about my day like a normal human being, which I've not been able to do, you know. Yeah, I mean, it's clear to me. It's an easy decision now. I've experienced consistently for 5 days every day, you know, where for the last year and a half I've been just moping about, like switched off completely. Lights are just so dull. So that's why I'm promoting the carnivore diet. I don't think we've got to be concerned about cholesterol. You know, I'm not a doctor. Make sure you talk with your doctor before you make any changes to your diet. You know, I am studying naturopathy nutrition, so I have got a keen interest in nutrition, and I'm almost finished my studies. I've got one assignment left, and then I've got the exam. So I've learned an awful lot about nutrition in the last 5 years, especially since I started looking into nutrition and being more specific and learning about vitamins and minerals, and you know how a lot of people are our soils are depleted. Even if you're trying to eat good food and vegetables, you know, the soils are depleted, and just from mono agriculture. And so to try and get vitamins and minerals anyway, you know, if you just get them from the grass-fed meats and the organs, you're gonna optimize like you probably never have done before. And if you're filtering your water, you're drinking clean water, remineralizing your water, which is so important, you know, you're just gonna start feeling different, and at least gain some more energy to start figuring stuff out. Because when you've got brain fog and fatigue, you can't do anything. You're literally like a zombie. And when you compare it to when you're operating 80%, 90%, you know, I don't even feel like I'm at my best right now. I still have some bloating in my gut, and this is definitely a process. But I'm noticing marginal gains each day. And like I said, the differences between day and night from 5 days ago to when I was eating low Fodmaps. So, yeah, the difficult things about going carnivore is the commitment. Obviously, you have to sacrifice taste, short-term pleasure for long-term gain. You know, this is, if you're not really practicing that, it's a bitter pill to swallow. But the truth is, you've got to sacrifice, you accept it, just get it done and move on. You know, the longer you kind of stay, oh, I'll just have this one treat, or I'll have that one treat, the just longer you're going to be keeping yourself trapped, you know, feeling like you're on a treadmill, not making any progress, while being depressed. So yeah, make the decision, just suck it up, do it. There's always an excuse. I've got a family party coming up, I can't do it because my other family won't eat it, or whatever. There's always a good excuse. But you know, if you want to stay where you are, you know, just keep making them excuses. So, I mean, that's been my experience anyway. It was hard to let go of foods that I enjoyed, but it's got to be done. And it's not forever, hopefully. You know, let's make this clear, I want to be able to enjoy foods. If I want a treat every now and again, I want to be able to have a treat without being derailed and completely thrown off track for days and weeks, sometimes just because I've eaten a treat or a takeaway. I want to rebuild my gut bacteria, and so I want to be eating clean vegetables and fruits and all this stuff. and it's great for training. It's not to say that training isn't good. At the minute I'm training hard and sweating a lot, and because I'm replacing all my electrolytes, I'm feeling good. I still feel switched on. I'm not feeling fatigued. You know, muscles feel good, joints feel good, better than they have done in a long time. So I'm obviously doing something right, and in the past I've struggled in these areas. So watch my other video on the protocol that I've got. You know, with the carnivore diet, you've got the collagen in the meat, especially if you're eating fatty cuts. If you're having bone broth, you know, I try and have it every day. Where I order bones from an ethical, high welfare farm, and I make my bone broth for 2 days, and I drink that, cook my meat in it, I drink it. Helps to heal the intestine where there's all damage caused from these bacteria and parasites and whatever else is going on in there. So there's a sweet science to this, and I'm beginning to understand it. And you know, I don't want to keep these bacteria alive. I want them gone. But it's a journey. It's a battle, and there's been a lot of lessons involved. But I think I'm gaining the wisdom now to treat them. And if I had the choice of taking rifaximin, the antibiotic, I'm, you know, not really pro pharmaceuticals unless you've got severe pain, you know, and you need some relief. You know, I think it's good for stuff like that. But, you know, general pharmaceuticals to treat symptoms of disease and ailments, yeah, it's just not my way of doing things. I'm all about trying to find the root cause and change lifestyle and change my habits to, you know, fix and make amends, remove the problem from the situation, and then treat with lifestyle. That's my approach. So I'm not a fan of pharmaceuticals, but this antibiotic, rifaximin, apparently is effective at treating SIBO. But what's to say, if I was to take this antibiotic, I'm just talking off the top of my head, if I was to take this antibiotic and I'm still able to eat all foods, there's no limitations on what I can and can't eat, I'm still going to be eating shit. I'm still going to be having a bit of chocolate here and there. I'm still going to be I might have a takeaway, I think, oh yeah, my digestion's good, and I'm not changing these bad habits which have probably got me here in the first place or helped to get me here. So I think this being restrictive and having some self-control and going the distance with a 3-month carnivore diet like what I've shared in my previous video, maximizing your micronutrients and macronutrients, and you know, it's like almost like a penance, like a karma, the way I see it anyway, for me, in paying off you know, all the indulgence and gluttony that I took part in the past. It's like, okay, I've really got to regain some self-control here and not eat any junk and be so clean and treat my body like everything. I'm aware of everything that I'm putting in there, food, thoughts, and just everything. Water, you know, drinking clean, filtered, remineralized water, and going the distance with that. And then, you know, I think that will help me to pay off my debt of indulgence. That's just the way I'm looking at it, to, you know, help me get through it. Because no doubt there is psychological challenges to embarking on a strict carnivore diet as well, without any comfort food or things you enjoy. It requires a change in mentality and perspective, and without that, you're gonna fail at the first hurdle, because you get tired and you think, oh, it's not working, I'm not doing it. I mean, I've done it, you know, so I'm talking from experience. Is the carnivore diet expensive? No, in my opinion it's not, and it's so easy because you're washing less, you're cooking less, you know what you're eating. I buy a big slab of chuck meat, grass-fed chuck, I cut it up into steaks or pieces, and it works out cheap. Liver, you could probably pay £10 for a kilogram, £11, £12 maybe. Same with heart, and you're not eating much of that either. You're just chopping it up into little bits, and you have a little bit each day of each as like a multivitamin. And I'm telling you guys, these two are game changers. If you're a healthy, functioning human being, you shouldn't need to eat liver and heart often. You know, if all your gut integrity is intact and you've been digesting minerals and vitamins for a long time, no gut issues, then you probably don't need to have it as much. But if you're sick and you're unwell, you've had malabsorption, you've had constipation and diarrhea and all these gut issues, the chances are that you're going to be deficient. And if you've been eating the Western diet, you're going to be deficient in minerals and vitamins. And if you want to maximize them, the offal, in my experience, is beneficial, but you can overdo it. I just have to be clear on that. Liver contains like really high toxic amounts of retinol, vitamin A, that if you consume in large amounts, I don't think it's like everything in moderation. So as my mum says. So that's it really. Pros and cons of, I don't even really know if I compared them side by side there, but you can see that I'm a massive advocate of carnivore for SIBO, for the reasons that low Fodmap kept me experiencing symptoms every day and preventing me from, accessing higher vibrational states of living, like gratitude, happiness, joy, creativity, all these things that I think we are just part of our being, and if we don't have access to them, it just feels like what's the point in all this? So yeah, I feel like I'm back online anyway, and I'm just sharing what's worked for me. It might help some people, it might leave some breadcrumbs for some people, or encourage some that are sat on the fence. I'm really passionate about improving health and life through diet and just habits, positive habits that I've been trying to change over the years, from being kind of asleep and walking around with the blinkers on and ignorant, to trying to be more awake and strive to be healthier and happier, because then you can contribute, and it feels good to contribute and to share and to help other people. But when you're stuck in a low vibrational state, the only person that you can help is yourself, really, and that's just the way it is. So I hope this video is useful. I know I've kind of meandered there and beaten around the bush maybe, but hopefully I've said something useful, and I'll try and be more to the point in my next videos. I've only just started talking again, really. I've not really spoken the last year and a half because I've been that depressed just with everyday symptoms, but hopefully I can learn how to structure my videos in a better way that is just clear. But I just have a lot to say at the minute, because it's all been kind of enclosed with dealing with all these internal symptoms. So it's nice to be back online, even if I am waffling. It feels good just to be talking and yeah, able to enjoy a day again. So anyway, thanks for watching if anyone's watched, and yeah, I'll do another video soon.